At the beginning of the trailer, we see Invincible casually bench pressing a huge machine that Cecil created for Mark to train with and improve his physical strength. I've noticed that the machine looks different. It appears to be way smaller than the one in the comics. You can clearly see that in the comics, the machine was really huge. The color of the machine is also different. It seems they changed the color to black. In the comics, the machine is gray. The machine design in the trailer is slightly different from the one in the comics. In the trailer, when Invincible was training with the machine, it was emitting blue light, which is a new feature not present in the comics. Kid Omni-Man looks really great in the trailer, and his costume looks exactly the same as in the comics. I've noticed that in the comics, Oliver is really skinny and scrawny and doesn't look great. However, in the trailer, he actually looks much better and isn't scrawny like in the comics. It's safe to say that Oliver, in the trailer, is an improvement over his comic book counterpart. Another thing I noticed in the trailer is that after obtaining his superhero costume, he fought a villain wearing an elephant costume and easily sent him flying by punching him in the face. This scene is totally new and didn't happen in the comics, so it seems like Oliver will be getting a lot of screen time. In the trailer, we saw Oliver destroying the Mauler twins' weapon. However, in the comics, it was Invincible who destroyed their weapons with his hands. When Oliver punched one of the Mauler twins in the trailer, his punch didn't even hurt them. In the comics, he punched the Mauler twin and easily broke his jaw, so I'm starting to think that maybe they nerfed him a little bit. The Mauler twins launched a huge missile toward the moon. In the trailer, Invincible stopped the missile by flying towards it and colliding with it, causing it to explode. That's an epic way to stop a giant missile. In the comics, Invincible noticed that the missile was launched and flew after it, trying to catch it. Then he arrived in outer space and managed to grab onto the missile, starting to tear it apart with his hands and causing it to explode. So, the way he stopped the missile was slightly different in the comics. Another thing I noticed in the trailer is that when Invincible entered the White Room with Cecil, he was wearing a mask. In the comics, he wasn't wearing the mask. Powerplex in the trailer looks slightly different. His costume in the trailer is not comic accurate. Look at how they butchered his design in the trailer. I almost didn't recognize him the first time I watched the trailer. In the comics, he looks much better. I also noticed that in the trailer, his electric blasts are yellow in color. In the comics, they are green. The space prison where Alan and Omni-Man are being held in the trailer looks different. The prison is standing on a floating rock in space. In the comics, the space prison looks like a massive, advanced spaceship, just floating in space. Honestly, I think the comic version looks much better than the trailer version. I've also noticed that Alan, the alien, is nerfed in the trailer. They reduced his muscle mass. In the comics, he looks like a beast, really bulky, and much bigger than in the trailer. So, they really butchered him in the trailer. I've also noticed that the dragon in the trailer looks really different. The design is so bad that the dragon looks like a cartoon character from a kids' show. The dragon in the trailer is a joke. In the comics, he looks much better, majestic, and really huge. This is what a mythical creature should look like. So the comic version is much better. The mad scientist in the trailer looks good, but he is slightly different. In the comics, he is not completely bald. He still has some hair left. In the comics, he also looks really old. So, the differences are barely noticeable. I also noticed that Invincible's new costume looks slightly different. His gloves leave his fingers exposed. In the comics, his gloves cover everything, and we can also see his abs while he's wearing his costume. So the comic version is much better and more detailed. Alright guys, let me know in the comments which one you prefer, between the comics and animation, and which one you think looks better.